What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. So yesterday I rode the G3. I showed you the video with the remote and how to switch to 105s and on a remote using a newer R3 remote. I used my Zealot remote, same thing. So that being said, I wanted to give you a little update on it. So by selecting 105, I actually felt that the board rolled, it was smoother. When I would get on the accelerator or just accelerating and riding, it seemed like the motors in the ESC were happier being able to select 105. Brakes were still the same though. Not as good as they were on the street wheels. They're not as good as they are on the Zealot. The Zealot has got, well, the Zealot just has more torque, period. Regardless cloud wheels or not, it just has more torque. So the braking is something you need to think about. It's not dangerous by any means. You just have to brake sooner and anticipate braking before because it's not going to brake as hard as it did with the street wheels. That's all that had to say. But one thing that I did not like has nothing to do with the wheels, has nothing to do with the remote. So if you've watched my previous videos, you saw that I upgraded my Zealot to a composite deck. And I've always said that my Zealot deck was was stiffer than my G3 deck, even though they're both bamboo. Well, when I rode my G3 yesterday, I mean, it felt like a rubber band. I stood on it and it flexed so hard. Now, I'm a heavier person. I'm 205, plus yesterday I was carrying Leo with me and the backpack, so we're probably pushing like 210, 215. And it was just incredible how much the deck was flexing. So I was like, yeah, I can't ride like this. I mean, I rode all day, it was fine, but it was just too much flex for me. I just was not comfortable with the amount of flex on it. If you're a lighter rider, it's probably fine. You'll probably love it. So what I've done here is, let me flip this camera around. I'll show you what. So this is I'm doing what I anticipated doing months ago, or not, maybe not months ago, a few weeks ago. So I just tested this. So this is my G3 battery, with the power cable to the lights disconnected. And I just wanted to test this first before I go back into transferring everything again like I did a few weeks ago. So I just tested it, everything works fine. So we're gonna transfer all this stuff here to the Zealot deck over there that has less flex. And then we'll go for a ride. My goal for this is just to feel comfortable. And when I say comfortable, I don't mean comfortable like your feet don't hurt, your legs don't hurt. I mean comfortable like peace of mind. Like I don't feel like I'm standing on a rubber band. I feel like I'm standing on a regular deck that flexes, but I have full control and it's, I'm at ease. That's my goal and that's what I'm looking for. I can tell you from the composite deck, it's very stiff. But the way it's made, it does flex a little. It's made to absorb bumps. So I'm not expecting a composite deck feel. I've ridden that deck before, so I know what it feels like. But what I'm expecting is that when I step on it, it does not feel like a super soft rubber band. Because right now, this G3, and this is the old style, original style G3, with the old style enclosure and harness and wires and things. And I think they've changed the makeup of the G3 since then. I think the newer G3s are just like the Zealot as far as the bamboo deck and the configuration of the ESC and all that. This is just one of the older style ones, so maybe that's the only thing going on here. So, all right, let's get to work. All right, we're all done. Now, let me show you what I did. At the end, I did do something different that I didn't plan on doing, but I'm going to show you that here in a second. Let me flip the camera. All right, so let's address what I did at the end. So you saw I had that battery on, and I switched and I put this one on. Okay, why did I do that? This is my G3 Plus battery. I just put it on yesterday to see if it gave me more torque or more range, etc. It did give me a little more range. The torque, I'm not 100% sure it gave me more torque than this, because they're both 12S 2P, I believe, 50 volt batteries. That's a bigger battery. It's got more watt hours, but they're the same construction. So I'm gonna go ride this right now, and then I'll know for sure if they gave me more torque. I don't know the answer to that yet. The other reason I put this on is this is the original battery that came with this deck, the Zealot deck, and it fits perfect all the way around here. That battery is a little, the flange on it is a little flatter, and I noticed that on the G3 deck versus the Zealot deck. This Zealot deck, the bamboo deck, has just right here, I don't know if you can see it, but you can feel it. It has a little more curvature on the ends, where the G3 and even the composite deck is flatter. This has a little more concave towards the end of it, and it just makes it a little harder to get the flange on and off. It's not a big deal because this is flexible. You get it started, and then you just put some pressure down on it, and it'll go on. Now, one thing that I didn't notice before was the gaps. This is the gap. You have different gaps on the ESC for the G3 than you have on the Zealot. Now bear in mind, this is the old G3 ESC. The new G3 ESC is exactly the same as the Zealot, so there's probably no gaps. But using an older G3, you can see there's definitely a little bit of a gappage right there where the gasket doesn't sit quite right. But at the same time, you know, like I said, this is older G3, way out of warranty. I don't really care. You know, I'm not worried about this. Besides, the board flexes and moves. So while you're flexing and moving, this stuff here that's tight is gonna probably have gaps anyways. Hence why they tell you don't ride this in the rain, because it's water resistant, it's not waterproof. So let's turn it back on. I'll show you everything's working. What I just didn't connect was the battery, the light cables this time. Someone mentioned to me in the comments, when I did this the last time, said it's just a light cable, you don't got to worry about it. 100% right. I don't remember who that was in the comments. I'm gonna actually, when I post this video, I'll look and I'll give you a thumbs up. Thanks for the comment. But you can see we're in I'm putting it in all modes: E mode, sport mode. I always do that. Turbo. See the flashing T. You know it's in turbo. Yeah. So it's working fine. The only thing that's not going to work is the lights aren't going to work. I can double tap this remote, it'll vibrate, but lights aren't going to work because they're not connected. No big deal. I don't use the lights that often anyways because they suck down the battery. And I've got shred lights on this one. So hopefully I'll get the results that I'm expecting. I'm just expecting this to give me more less flex ride. Flexible still, yes, but I expect to not feel like I'm on a cartoon rubber band when I ride it. All right, let me go for a ride now. Let you know what I think. All right, so we can tell you a million times better. Definitely, this deck is much more comfortable than the super flexy old style G3 deck. I mean, it was instant. The other thing I was wondering was the battery. Torque is the same. It's exactly the same. I feel no difference in torque. It's working just fine. I had to look real quick to see if I was in sport mode. Yeah, no, it feels exactly the same. Brakes, yep, same brakes. They're still good. They're not as good as with street wheels or as good as the Zealot because it has more torque. But everything's good. If you want this deck, let me know in the comments below, and we'll communicate and get your shipping address and everything, and you'll get a free deck. All right, thanks for watching.